The fumes that would come out of this have the potential to kill thousands of people.
What's up guys, I'm George and I've never been this nervous introing a video before. You see, if things go wrong today, well this could be the last Coral Fish 12G video ever filmed. Let me explain. So right now, I'm just sitting in the 12G studio. And the first tank we're gonna add to it is a 30-gallon tank that's actually already been set up. In fact, do any of you guys remember the 30-gallon tank I had before I left for college? Well, if you don't, it was this beautiful tank I set up as a sophomore in high school. It now has like 250,000 views on YouTube, but after I graduated, I had to take it down, and that's the last most of you ever heard about it. Well, I've kept this a secret, but this whole time the tank has been running on its own while I've been at college, and it went from being a secret to my dirty little secret.
I'll keep you my dirty little secret. Don't tell anyone or you'll be just another regret. My dirty little secret.
Okay, now that I gave my tank a haircut, you can get a good look at the inside of the tank, but this thing is just super dirty still. Like, there's algae everywhere. The filter is an absolute mess. Like, look at this huge bottle from the protein skimmer. So in the summer after I graduated high school, I sold off the majority of the fish and coral in this tank, and instead of fully taking it down, I then decided, you know what? I'll just leave it and take it down during winter break. So when I came back for winter break, I saw that the corals had grown and the fish looked fine, so I was like, you know what? I'll take it down during spring break.
Eventually.
So here we are 2 years later, and instead of taking the tank down, I want to revive it and move it into my aquarium studio. Before I do that, there's two major problems that I need to address. First, I haven't done a water change on this tank in the last 2 years. So I don't want to do anything stupid that might suddenly crash it. I've been having my parents feed the fish while I'm gone, but they've clearly been overfeeding. As you can see, all of this extra food that's built up in the filter. Over breaks while I'm home for a bit, I'll always clean out the sponges and clean the glass. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, how is this even possible that you have healthy looking fish and growing coral in a tank that hasn't received a water change in 2 years?
No, it's not true. That's impossible!
So most of us consider saltwater aquariums to be a very high maintenance hobby because of things like constant water changes, specialized feeding, and daily monitoring. But over time, most people start to become control freaks and will stick their hand in their tank to fix any little thing that looks off. And so what this tank situation reminds me of, and what a lot of people don't realize, is that often when you just leave things alone in your tank, they can thrive. What sticking your hand in the tank and changing stuff all the time does is it leaves a lot of room for error, and this can cause a lot of problems and deaths in a tank. When you just let things go, yes, the tank can get really dirty, but you'll also see things flourish and your corals grow faster. And that's exactly what's been going on with this tank. Because of proper water flow from my Ecotech Marine Wave Maker and a lot of live rock to house beneficial bacteria, this tank has basically become a mini ocean. But for all you beginners out there, new tanks do require more care and timely water changes. The first couple years in a fish tank is a critical time with tons of different changes going on. But as your tank matures, there starts to become this natural balance, and you can start getting away with more things, like not having to do a water change every single week. Plus, all these corals are soft corals, which actually like water that's a little bit dirty. But this tank is definitely in need of a water change, so in the process of moving it, I'm going to do a 4-gallon water change using this freshly mixed water.
Actually, wait, I think I forgot to mix the salt in it.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Yeah, that's fresh water. Well, the good thing is that my sponsor, Fritz Aquatics, makes the fastest dissolving salt on the market. It's called RPM salt, and I use it on all my aquariums, but this will be the first time I use it on this tank. So after I do a water change, everything should perk up. Okay, while we wait for that to mix, I'm gonna address the second problem.
The second issue has to do with the livestock. I have a pair of really fat clownfish, a flame angel who I named Super Hot Fire,
Cause I'm super hot, boy.
an urchin, pink starfish who's actually coming out right now because I just fed him,
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Find a happy place, find a happy place, find a happy place.
and some other basic overgrown corals, all of which is great, except I made the mistake of leaving a small amount of one very problematic coral in the tank called Palythoas. The problem with these is that if they're handled the wrong way, they can actually kill you. Take a look.
It's believed the family fell ill following a bizarre incident involving toxic coral in their fish tank.
A lookout and a new alert this morning about home aquariums. The CDC now warning those beautiful corals inside can release poison that could make you sick.
They removed and scrubbed several pieces of coral, which then released toxic spores into the air. The family was raced to the Flinders Medical Centre, with a mother reportedly suffering from respiratory issues.
Warning of a little-known risk, so-called Palytoxin poisoning, after 10 recent cases in Alaska. When zooanthid coral is clean, broken, or comes into contact with boiling water, experts say it could release a dangerous poison into the air.
Now, after watching that video, as crazy as it sounds, I know people who still don't believe that Palytoxin is dangerous at all. And although I don't agree with people on that side of the spectrum, I do agree that people are still very misinformed about Palytoxin. I've done a few videos on this topic before, and they always seem to scare people away from buying zoanthids, which I just don't get why.
You know how I got these scars? Palytoxin.
Yeah, that would make sense. But you really shouldn't be scared about buying zoanthids for your reef tank. Zoanthids are different than Palythoas. Zoanthids are usually these small polyps with short stubby skirts, and they come in some crazy color patterns. Palythoas are these really big polyps that have these really long and skinny skirts that makes them look like Venus flytraps. And although Palythoas can come in some different color patterns, they're more likely to be like green or brown and usually a lot uglier. Now, it's these ugly variations that are notorious for all the Palytoxin poisoning cases, and it's because they're either stressed out or they're being mishandled. And so this is a problem for me because this is the exact type that my tank is completely overgrown with. And so that scares me quite a bit to handle them while I drain and move this tank. But I do need a clickbait title for this video, so I'm just gonna send it. Just holding this rock is actually pretty scary because if you were to boil this, the fumes that would come from out of that have the potential to kill thousands of people. Now, the other way people get the Palytoxin poisoning is from not being careful when they're fragging them.
Do not cut them up like a chef from Benihana.
I don't recommend doing this. This is literally the stupidest thing you can do, but just to show you, like if you cut through a tissue, so you see that stuff that it squirted, check out the replay. So I just cut this head off from the stalk, and you can see, like, from just playing with the head here a little bit with the scissors, you see this mucus? That's the bad stuff. So people who are doing this without gloves on or without eyewear, and you're touching these Palythoas with your bare hands, and you don't wash your hands the right way, or enough for long enough, and the mucus, which now you can see just like oozing everywhere off this thing, and it gets in somehow to your body, it can penetrate the bloodstream, and then that's what sends a lot of people to the hospital. Now that I'm done handling them, look at my gloves. You see this like brown mucusy like stuff? When I take these gloves off, you know, you're not done there. Go wash your hands really well with soap. Check it out, I finally got everything moved into this corner of the aquarium studio. Alright, so the reason my hair looks wet right now is because I just got out of the shower. I hopped in there really quickly after I finally finished moving this tank,
And it's because I didn't want to take any chances, especially after handling that big rock full of Palythoas. I'm sorry I couldn't show more footage of the actual moving process, but things started to get kind of crazy and it wouldn't have been fair to the fish if I slowed down the whole process just to stop and film everything. Now, I'm not sure whether I want to keep these fish in here or what I'm going to be doing with this tank. I would love to hear your suggestions in the comment section below, but I am going to keep reviving it and cleaning the tank so that it's ready for whatever we decide. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave it a like down below and subscribe to my channel. I would turn on the post notifications because the next thing we're going to be doing here in the aquarium studio is setting up a bunch more tanks. And I want you guys to be involved in deciding what I end up putting in all of them. Remember to keep those nitrates low. George, out.